You can share your screen, Sridevi.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, you're audible.
Just a minute, sir. I'll share my screen.
Sure.
Is my screen visible, sir?
Yeah, it's visible. You'll have to turn on your camera.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. You can start.
Yes, sir. So, good evening, everyone. I'm Sridevi Satyamurthy. I'm a data engineer intern here at Hackveda. So, my task was to do prescriptive analysis on a given data set. So, let me go start with the presentation now. So before delving into prescriptive analysis, let me first tell you all about the three major analysis which we majorly do in data analysis or data engineering. So the first one is descriptive analysis. Descriptive analysis, as the name suggests, we'll be describing what the past data has in it. So we'll be taking the historical data and we'll be analyzing it, performing various analysis on it, and we'll be describing the past or historical data. That is all about descriptive analysis. And then comes predictive analysis. Um, as the name suggests, prediction. So we'll be using the historical data to do prediction in the future. So we'll be training our model. We'll be creating machine learning models by using a historical data set, which we have handled using which we have handled in the descriptive analysis, and we'll be predicting what will happen in the future. And finally comes the prescriptive analysis. So this prescriptive analysis is a tool, is a type of analysis wherein we recommend what has to be done in the near future, or the course of action which will increase, which will act as an optimization technique in order to increase the sorry just a minute in order to increase the uh, um, in order to increase the sales, or the business value. So this will be an added tool or added value for a business analysis. So this is all about prescriptive analysis. So let me give an overview about the data set which I've used here. So Hackveda has given me the product demand data set, product demand forecast data set here. So the data set almost contains 1 lakh of entries. So which is very much visible that this is a big data and we'll be handling it. So the data set basically contains five main columns. The first one is the product code. That is the code of that specific product which is sold. And next comes the warehouse. So warehouse is basically a place where you store a group of any storage item. So we'll be specifying the name of the warehouse wherein that specific product is stored. And then comes the category of that product. Product category in the column product category. The category under which that specific item comes under will be observed. And then the date at which this specific product is sold, or the demand of that specific product on that day will be in the date column. And then the order demand. Under the order demand column, we'll have the amount of orders that specific product has got on that specific day. So as we can see, this one record, this one instance contains a specific product code, the warehouse in which it is stored, and then the category under which it comes, the date, and the order demand of that specific product on that date. So this is all about the data set which I've used, and it has, as I already told, it has almost like 1 lakh entries, which makes this a very big data. And the major drawback in this is that we have we have many null values and duplicates here. So we'll be cleaning that before we start doing prescriptive analysis. So the steps involved in prescriptive analysis are, I have taken down, I've shortlisted into 7 main steps. The first one comes data loading, and then data understanding, then data cleaning and pre-processing. As I told, there'll be null values and duplicates, so we'll be cleaning that in the third step. And then we'll be performing univariate, bivariate, and multivariate analysis. Then feature engineering, model creation, and model evaluation will be done. And then finally, the time series analysis will be done. These all together is known as a prescriptive analysis. So in the first step, data loading, we'll be loading the data, that is the data set. I've gotten the data set from the Kaggle website, so I've downloaded it. Basically downloading and then reading that specific CSV file into our Jupyter notebook or Google Colab is the first step. And next comes the understanding of the data. So the data set is very huge, and we have to understand what type of data, what are the data types of each column, and then how each column affect each other, what are the dependent and independent variables. So we have to go through all of these, and it can be done easily when we do data understanding analysis. And next comes the data cleaning and pre-processing step, wherein the null values, duplicates, outliers will be analyzed and removed. Then comes univariate, bivariate, and multivariate analysis. These are the 3 levels of EDA, that is exploratory data analysis. We'll be analyzing the data, and we'll be finding the relationship between each of the data, that is each of the column. We'll be analyzing one column with respect to another column. That will be a step 4. And next comes feature engineering. So feature engineering is a step wherein we'll be modifying the data or adding features to the data, or modifying the existing features and attributes of that data set in order to make it fit to be evaluated on a model which we create. And then we'll be creating a model according to it, a model where a prescriptive analysis can be easily depicted. And then finally comes the time series analysis, wherein according to the time, that is based on the time, we can either consider a year, the month, or maybe week. Based on all these categories, we analyze, we prescribe them what demand that specific product has. So these are the 7 steps. We'll be seeing that in detail now. So after data loading, we'll be processing that data. So the data which we get in real time are raw data. So consider a real time example wherein I am manager at say Amazon. So I have to get the data from all specific warehouses where all my products are stored, and I have to take it into account, and I have to prescribe, that is like I have to make an average demand of that specific product so that I can make it available at that specific time. So it'll be more it will more enhance my business, right? So in that case, what I should do is that I should take my prehistoric data, that is the raw data which I get from the real time. Say all the customers buy these many fruits or biscuits or any type of item. I have to take all that into account, and then I have to process it. So these type of data are basically called as raw data, wherein they are not processed or something. They are the real time data which we get from the customers or people. So this raw data should be pre-processed before used. So that is the main step which we have to do before taking that data into our model. So in this pre-processing step, the first thing which we have to consider is the handling of missing data, that is the null values. The null values can be removed. So here I've developed this using Google Colab, wherein I've used a Python for doing this analysis. So for removing the null values in the data set in Python, we use first we have to analyze how many null data are there, that is how many empty values are there. So here null value means empty value, that is that specific column will be empty. So consider a situation to understand this null data more, let's consider a situation where I'm an employer. So I have to collect data of my employees. So I give a Google form. I share a Google form with all my employees, and they have to fill in their details. Suppose everyone fill it out, and one or two people miss out some fields. All of us would have used a Google form, of course. So say I have not highlighted that field, and my employee did not fill in that field, so that will become a null value in my result. So these are known as null values. And then we'll be removing outliers. So what is an outlier? So outliers are basically extreme values. Suppose I've asked my employee to fit in his height, and he puts he enters it as 1,000 feet, which is not even humane. So under these circumstances, these specific values are known as outliers. So these will surely affect my analysis. So during the data pre-processing technique, I'll be removing the null values and the outliers. And then as a third step, I'll be normalizing and standardizing my data. So for doing this, consider I have extreme values or a large range of values in my column. I will take the average of that, and I'll be minusing it from each individual value, so that I'll get a normalized or standardized form of that data set. So this is all about data pre-processing and cleaning techniques. So yeah, for the coding part of this, I've used, as I told, I've used Google Colab and Python for doing this. So def specifies a variable in which my data set is stored, and dot is null of is a function which returns all the null values which is present in my data set, and then is dot of will add all those values and give it to me according to the column. So as we can see, this will be the output of our code snippet, and it says that a product code has no null values, and warehouse has no null values, product category has no null values, but our date has almost 11,000 null values. So which makes it obvious that these many null values are present in our data set. So we have to clean it as a step in data pre-processing. We'll be cleaning the null data. So in order to clean that null data, I've used a dot drop na of. Drop na is a function wherein all my null values will be dropped. So I have cleaned my data and stored in df underscore clean. So when I give the shape of the data, we can see that the shape of the data has been reduced. That is, the number of entries has been reduced because we have dropped all the null values. So these all comes under data pre-processing. And then comes exploratory data analysis. In exploratory data analysis, we'll be performing it in 3 major steps. The first one is univariate analysis. Second one is bivariate analysis. And then lastly comes the multivariate analysis. So while performing all these 3 analysis, we'll be getting 3 main insights. The first one is the seasonality. That is, in which season or which month that specific product is mostly demanded. So that is all about the seasonality here. And then comes the product category. That is under which category my item comes under, or that is, we'll be categorizing those products under the seasonality, and we'll be categorizing them. So while performing EDA, we'll be able to categorize our products based on the seasonality and their demand. And then comes the warehouse-based EDA, wherein here I'll be analyzing my data based on the warehouse in which it is stored. Suppose say I run a company, I run a grocery company, and then I have 3 main warehouses A, B, C. I'll be analyzing which warehouse, from which warehouse most of the products are taken from, and based on that, I'll be analyzing it. So that comes under warehouse-based EDA. So this is all about exploratory data analysis. So to do a summary, in this EDA, we'll be mainly focusing on analyzing each data based on another column. So we'll be analyzing the relationship between 2 columns. So these are the outputs of my analysis before before the model development. So as we can see, there are 4 warehouses here: warehouse J, warehouse S, warehouse C, and warehouse A. And from the bar chart, it is very clear that warehouse J has most of the demanded products. And then in the second place, we have warehouse A, and then warehouse S, and lastly warehouse C. So these are all the counts of the product which are demanded by the customer in the data set which I have chosen. So when we plot graphs, bar graphs like this, it will be more easy for us to analyze the data. So in this chart, we can actually see the order demand, that is the average order demand of all the products in relation to the date. That is in 2012 we can see how much from 2012 to 2013 we can see how much of great order demands we have. And then in 2014 to 15 we can see a small drop down here. So by doing this line plot, we'll be easily able to analyze on in which year the demand has been more and in which year it has come down. So next step is feature analysis. That is, we'll be analyzing the features, or changing the features according to the way we want to fit in with our model. So as a first step, we have to first analyze what are the data types or columns we have. So in the first slide, in the fourth slide where I've shown the data set, I've told you all we have 5 main columns there. But then we can see here we have more than 5 columns, wherein I have splitted that date column into day of the week. That is whether it is Monday, Sunday, or which day of the week it belongs to. And then quarter, that is if we divide our year into 4 parts, which quarter does that specific demand belongs to. Then comes the month in which it belongs to, then the year, and then the week. So I have splitted that specific date column into all these categories so that it will be more helpful for me in order to do time series analysis. So under feature analysis, I've done this, and then I've sorted the date according to the in the increasing order, that is the ascending order. And then I have now separated my target and the features. So the target will be, basically we're doing prescriptive analysis here. That is, we'll be prescribing our company what amount of demand we have for that specific product in that date. So for doing that, we'll be taking the order demand as our target, and all the other four dates as our features. So this is all about the feature analysis, which we have to do before getting into the model. So yeah, I'll now take you to the demo now. So as I told you all before, I have used Google Colab for this to do the analysis, to do prescriptive analysis. So as a first step, I've imported all the libraries which are needed. I've imported NumPy. NumPy is a Python library in which we can analyze series, numbers, and do mathematical and scientific calculations. So, and then comes pandas. Pandas is basically used here in order to read the CSV file and to perform data frames and to convert these CSV files into data frames and then analyze it. And next comes Seaborn and Matplotlib. These two libraries are basically used for visualization. So the first step is data loading. That is, we'll be reading the CSV file. I have downloaded the CSV file in the name historical product demand.csv. I have read that using the pandas library. So when I give df, my total data set will be given as the output. As the second step, we'll be understanding the data. So for understanding the data, we'll be seeing how many rows and columns it has, what are the values it has, and what are the column names. So df.shape of this specific function will give me the number of rows and columns my data has. And then dot head of will give me the first 5 rows of my data set. As we can see, from 0 to 4, which is technically 5. So the first 5 rows of my data set will be shown as the output. And the same way, df dot tail of will give me the last 5 rows of my data set. And then comes df dot columns, wherein all the column names, that is from the data set, we can see there are 5 columns, and all the column names alone will be extracted and will be given as the output here. And then df dot describe of this function will basically do the mathematical and statistical analysis on the numerical columns alone. That is, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4. All these 4 are not numerical values. That is, they are string values. And then the order demand alone has numerical values. So when I give df dot describe of, the order demands column will be taken into account, and all numerical and statistical operations will be applied on that column. Same way, df dot info of also works same as describe of function. We can get the count, that is like how many values are there. Since we have all, that is, we can also see the data type of that specific column. We can see first 4 are object, that is, they have string values, and the last one, order demand alone, is an integer value. So as a third step, we'll be cleaning the data. For cleaning the data, we have to first remove the null values. So df dot null of dot sum of will give me the sum of the null values. We have already seen this in the presentation. So after seeing how many null values are there, I have dropped all the null values using df dot drop any of. And then when I see the shape of my data set, it has been decreased. So first we saw the shape was around 10 lakh 50,000, and here, and after cleaning we have only 10 lakh 37,000. So which is pretty less. So this is a cleaned data set which I can use for my further processing. Also here I've sorted my date. This is the part where we'll be sorting our date in the order in the increasing in the ascending order. And I have fixed my date as the index value here, so that I can easily analyze my product based on the date or a week or year in which it is the demand it has. So as you can see, this the serial number has been replaced with the date here. So I've actually set the index to be date. So next comes the EDA, exploratory data analysis. That is univariate, bivariate, and multivariate analysis. So here basically we'll be plotting graphs and we'll be analyzing the data more. So we've already seen this graph wherein warehouse J has more number of products in it, and this will be the order demand, and this will be the each this will be the number of products each warehouse has. And then comes the feature engineering. So for feature engineering, as I told you all, I have divided the date column into 5 other columns. So we can see the output here, and then I've set my features and target. So then comes my model creation. So I have created my model here. I've created it using XGBoost algorithm. So yeah, I've plotted my results here. So in the result, as you can see that from 2011 till 2016, we already have the data, and I've predicted for from May of 2016 till 2017. That is the next 6 to 7 months has been predicted. That is, this part will be the test part, and all these are the training parts. So I validated my model here. As you can see, my RMSE value has been pretty great here. And finally, to showcase my result, I've done time series analysis. That is, this graph shows the order demand per week. That is from the first week of any year till the last week of any year, how much of demand or order each product has. So this is all about the demo. I'll now continue with my presentation. We've already seen this in our demo, so I'll skip this. So this graph basically represents the order demand per week. Yeah. So we'll be now seeing about the interpretation and results we have gotten from the prescriptive analysis model which I've created. So I've been able to achieve 90% accuracy by creating this model, which is pretty great when you use these type of historical data which is not processed. And the precision has been 95%, which is again a pretty great value. And the RMSE value which have seen in the validation has been finally that the thing which I showed in the demo, it had only 100 validations, so it was actually less. It had only 3.7. So after doing 200 validations, I've got around 5.6 as my RMSE value. So this is all about the result of my model. So to conclude with, this prescriptive analysis is can help business analysts in order to get valuable insights about each product and its demand, and will help them in order to make more precise and useful information, which will in turn increase their profit. So our model, my model has achieved 90% accuracy, which is very much great, and we can use it for real-time applications also. And also I've got around 95% precise prediction, which will be a great insight for a business analyst, where it will create a room for them in order to improve the quality of data and the time in which it is served. So this is all about the conclusion and result. So in the future work, I've actually planned to use more optimization technique like linear programming and mixed integer programming in order to make further more precise and accurate predictions. So I'm done with my presentation now. If you all have any doubts or questions, you can ask me.
Sridevi, the presentation was great. Each essential step was thoroughly researched, and I liked how you dived into every single aspect of your project. That was very well done, I would say. Uh, uh, the one thing that I would like to add is that there are certain things, right? Whenever we're working on projects that involve analysis, say your R2 scores or your RSME scores or anything like that, right? What I would want you to do is that before before you jump into all of those numbers, uh, try to explain what those values really mean. Just like you did
Okay.
for the precision and for the accuracy, you said that the accuracy was around 90%, right? And it's great because sometimes all of that historical data isn't processed that well. You have to give just like that. You have to give reasons for certain values, because you have to assume that the people who are watching this presentation, they know nothing. That's how you have to approach every single project, and that's how you have to give explanations. You have to explain to your audience as if they're let's say they're kids, and you have to express everything in as simple terms as possible. Other than that, everything else was fine. This was
Okay.
this is like one of the presentations I would recommend to people,
Thank you so
to
much,
all of
sir.
the interns to watch. Yeah, you can stop sharing
Yeah.
your screen. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Then we have Merc Gonsalves. You can unmute.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
So my name is Merc Gonsalves and I'm from the web developer group. And my topic is the doctor search website. So this is the overview of what I'll be covering in this presentation. So we start with the introduction, then all the technologies and the tools used. Then I do a website demonstration, a conclusion, and then all the references. So now starting with the introduction, a doctor search website is basically an online platform which will allow people to search and contact doctors for in their surrounding areas. So this is required mainly because it's much more flexible and quick, and people can it improves the customer satisfaction overall. So then it also reduces the time required to set an appointment, and it also greatly increases the flexibility so that you can even set appointments during, like, say, suppose the weekends where suppose the doctor isn't available, the clinic, or maybe the doctor is having an off day or something. So it's really good for those times like that also. So it also helps the patients to make informed decisions and also helps them find the best suited doctor for them. So now moving on to the technologies and all the tools used. We start off with Figma, which is the platform that I used for the graphics editor and to create the front end. So you take the design from Figma and you use Locofy to convert the code into HTML and CSS. Then for the backend database, I've used MySQL. I've used PHP for the web services so that I can retrieve data from the backend database. Then I've used Postman to test and then validate the PHP script so that they're working as to my satisfaction. Then to host all of these files and then so that this people can access this website, I'm using 000 web host. And finally, I use a jQuery to invoke and then handle the PHP script so that when people search for the doctor, it will finally trigger the web services and it will return doctor so that the people can see. So then starting off with Figma. So now this Figma is the web application that I've used to create the website. And as you can see, here. Okay, so as you can see, this is where I've created the website, where we have a navigation bar, we have the banner section, and then we have all the services. So this is for when this part of the page is like for when you find a doctor and you want to output it to the customers. So then we have after that we have Locofy. So now Locofy is the plugin used in Figma, which will convert your Figma design into the code, the HTML or CSS code, which you can then also edit if you want, and you can make changes also if you want. So this plugin is then integrated into Figma. So this is the plugin where you can also make changes where you can add certain hover effects, so you can add actions like on a click or something if you want to like create special effects or anything that you desire. Then after that we go on to the backend database. So I've used MySQL, and it's just used to maintain and manage the database. So this is the database that I've created for this project. Then moving on, we have the PHP script. So this PHP script is used for mainly for retrieving the data from the database. Here we have taken the search and the area parameters. So the search parameter is for the type of doctor or the doctor's field, and the area is the general location in which the doctor is based. So as you can see in this, we have here we create a connection to the database, and then we send a query. We query the database, and then finally we take in all the outputs from all the rows. Like suppose the doctor ID, the doctor name, the information, and the image and everything of the doctor. So moving on, we have a Postman. I used Postman to test and then to validate the PHP scripts so that they are working as I intend them to work. So here again, these are the two parameters where you can see. As you can see over here, I suppose I want to see a doctor in, say, suppose Margao, and I want to see an oncologist. So
Merc,
if we,
are you sharing the website?
sorry, I'm currently sharing Postman, so can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I thought you were
Okay.
showing the demonstration of the website. That's why I asked.
No, I was just showing the Postman. I'll be showing the website demonstration of this.
Okay.
Okay, I show the working of these.
Okay.
So this is currently the This is currently Postman. So here is where I take in the area, which is Margao, and then this is search.
I can't see the Postman application screen.
Oh, sorry. Let me just. Having a slight problem with Zoom. Okay, so I'll just show it on the. It's not picking up Postman for some reason.
You can share your entire screen. There will be an option to share the entire screen.
Yes. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yes. Is it visible now, sir?
It's visible.
Okay. So this is Postman, where I put in the area which I want to search the doctor, and then this is the doctor's area of specialization. So if now this will be used to send a query, which will then return your Dr. Bharat Gonsalves, and who is an oncologist. So this is the doctor that will be from Marga. So then moving on, after that we have a jQuery. This jQuery script is for the search button, which will which will take the area and the doctor's specialization, and then which will then send it to the PHP script, so that, and then it will finally use, based on these, it will take the output and it will send the response back. So then this response is then used and shown in the front end to the customer. So this is the website. Just show. So this is currently the website where we have a few effects like hover and home, and there's even like the scroll option. Like when you click appointment, it directly moves you to the scroll option, to the doctor search option. So then this is the service section with where you can find doctors, book appointments, and then have consultations. Now, if you say, suppose you want to search a doctor, you want to search an oncologist in Margao, and then you search, you get a doctor. So say suppose you want to search neurologist in Margao, you again get a doctor. So suppose again dentist in Bolva, you will get like multiple depending if they exist or not over there. So then that concludes with the website demonstration, and then finally we have the conclusion where we have created an online platform that will allow the doctors to that will allow the people to book appointments and communicate with doctors whenever they want. And then also we have learned to integrate multiple layers of the technology and the tools together into like a single application. So these are the references that I've used. This is the Hackveda full stack development playlist, which I've used to create, and then W3 schools for some extra knowledge to know how some certain feature functions work. And then finally, we have Stack Overflow for just some few errors which I have, so I could clarify them. Thank you. And if you have any questions, I will take them now. Okay. This is the end.
The presentation was nicely done. A few things that I would like to add is that please share your screen again. In few of the bullet points that you've mentioned, they seem too long, and it did look like you were reading from it. It was quite obvious. Try to shorten those bullet points so that you can elaborate on those bullet points. That would be recommended. Okay.
Okay,
Can you go back to the demonstration? See, the project is done well, but you will have to work on the UI. If you even end up hovering over, let's say, any button, the home button or the about button, can you hover over the home
Yes,
button?
sir.
Yeah, the animation seems a bit too long, don't you think?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, try to choose animations that are minimal. They're taking minimal time. They
Okay, sir.
just happen in like a millisecond. You want it to be smooth, but at the same time you don't want it to be really fast, or you don't want it to be very slow as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Work on the UI, and the images that have been demonstrated, they aren't of that high quality. Just like the images over here, when the application finds the doctors in the particular area that has been mentioned,
Yes,
it
sir.
feels too stretched, right? You can
Yes, sir.
keep them short. You do not have to necessarily cover the entire page, just to show their profile. You can just keep it short. You can shorten the size. Okay.
Yes,
uh
sir.
for this, just I'll just recommend that you work on the UI, make the necessary changes that I've told you to do. And also, you haven't included the Q&A slide. You have to include a Q&A slide separately.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, include the Q&A slide and include your email address in the Q&A slide. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, it was fine. No problems.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
You can stop sharing your screen. Then we have Manushri. You can unmute.
Sir, is my audio and video clear, sir?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yes, sir. Just, shall I start with my presentation?
Yeah, you can start.
So, good evening, sir. I'm Manushri from the Hackveda department of data engineer. So, I'm here to present my project title, Prescriptive Data Analysis. So, throughout this session, I'm going to explain about what is prescriptive analysis, the data set which was given to me from the Hackveda department. So just the overview of the data set which was given to me, and the various analysis which I've done and the data set which was provided to me, and followed by the feature engineering. So I'll be explaining about what is feature engineering and what are all the features are included here in the data set. And then followed by the model creation, how we will be developing a model based on the data set provided to me, and then followed by the time series analysis. So all these 6 topics I will be detailed covering in this throughout presentation. So let us get into it. So what is prescriptive analysis? Now, in order to simplify the example of prescriptive analysis is, let us consider that there is a sweater selling a company. So in a sweater selling company, I just wanted to analyze, as a data scientist, I wanted to analyze the historical data of the sweater selling company, and I just wanted to inform the MD of the company how he can make profits. So what I'll be doing is, I'll be analyzing the historical data of the sweater selling company. So let us say that in the summertime, his sweater sales were very low. But during the current situation of winter time, his sweater sales are really very high. So at this time, what I'll be telling him is that during winter time, people are preferring more sweaters. And at this time, if you increase the cost, you will be gaining more profit. So this is the real-time example of a prescriptive analysis. That is, I'll be going through the prehistorical data and the current data which I have analyzed, and I'll be inferring how I can make detailed profit in that particular business. That's it. So this is the main idea of a prescriptive analysis. So what are all the complex processes involved in this prescriptive analysis is, there are the four detailed processes involved in this prescriptive analysis. The first one is the data collection. So let us give me an example for this one too. Now let us say that my friend wants to buy a laptop. So how will we just go to a shop and just buy a laptop just like that and come? No, what we'll be doing is, we'll be just collecting what are all the various types of models of data laptop we have. That's the data collection here. So after collecting various models of laptop we have, after completion of the data collection, we'll be doing predictive modeling. What is predictive modeling is, we'll be predicting what are all the various advantageous features in each laptop, what are all the various disadvantageous features we have in this laptop. So we'll be analyzing each laptop model. So this is known as predictive modeling. So first we'll be doing data collection, and then we'll be doing predictive model, and then optimization. What is optimization is, after analyzing every model of laptop, we'll be just going through what are all the models has the very high advantages. So what are all the very advanced features it has. So optimization is nothing but finding a possible solution, best possible solution, not possible solution. We'll be having many possible solutions. Optimization is finding the best possible solution. So after analyzing various models of laptop, I'll be picking up one model which will be suitable very much for my friend. So then simulation is nothing but, let's say my friend is a gamer, so he just needs a gaming laptop. So I'll be giving him just not a real time, but just like a trial to make him play a game in that gaming laptop, in order to make him feel comfortable whether it is good or not. So this is simulation, and then followed by the real-time testing. So these are all the main 4 processes which I'll be going throughout this prescriptive analysis. So just for the example of prescriptive analysis, I've said the sales of a sweater selling company. I'll be analyzing the prehistorical data, and I'll be providing him with how he can gain profits. So the various processes involved is being explained with how we'll be buying a laptop. So we'll be collecting the data, we'll be performing predictive modeling, that is what are all the features are very much required, and what are all the advantages and disadvantages, followed by the optimization, one best possible solution, and then we'll be simulating it with compared to our real-time application, and then we'll be applying it with a real-time application. So these are all the 5 complex processes which are involved here in this. Then so first we have seen what is prescriptive analysis. Now let's get into the data set which was given to me from the Hackweda department. So this data consists of 5 features. That is the product code, the code of the particular product, warehouse, in which particular warehouse this product code belong to, and then the product category. So various categories will be there under which category this product belongs to, then followed by the date, at which particular date this product was purchased, and then followed by the order of demand. So on this particular day, there were 100 products sold. So there were 100 demands for this product. So this is how we will be analyzing the data set. So this is the overview of the data set which was provided to me from the Hackweda. And after analyzing it, there are 5 number of rows, and the number of columns is exactly it is 10,485. So after having an overview of the data, now let's see how we are going to move on with model creation. So before getting into the model creation, we will be loading the data into our Google Colab or any other platform, Jupyter Notebook or any Data IQ or other softwares where we will be performing the analyzation. So how we will be loading the data is, we will be just loading the data set using the pd.read_csv. So here the pd is the pandas library in the Python, which is used for reading the rows and the columns. So this is how we will be loading the data set. Then followed by the data understanding. So data understanding. So in the previous slide, I have said that there are 10,485 columns. I mean, the rows are there. So how will I be, as a man, how will I be going through each and every rows, and I'll be counting how many columns are there? So that's why I'll be using this df.shapeoff in order to compute how many columns and rows I have. And then followed by df.headoff. So instead of going through the entire data set, this df.headoff will be providing just a sample of the first 4 rows of data, which will be giving me an idea of how the data set looks like. So after having an overview of the data, we'll be loading the data set, followed by the understanding of the data. Then data cleaning. So data cleaning process is nothing but we'll be just cleaning the data set which was given to us. So let's say we have collected the laptop models, various laptop models. In that, how we will be just analyzing the models. There might be even the models which were outdated or which are not in the company or in the sales right now. So they will be considered as null models, and we will not even consider it for model evaluation, right? So we will just be removing those models which are not in the market right now. So this is known as simply called as data cleaning. We will be removing the unwanted data in our data set. So we will be cleaning it with this statement of df. Df is nothing but the data set which I was loaded in the previous slide. So df.isNullOf. IsNullOf is used for stating that whether there are any null values in the data set. .SumOf is the overall null values together. So here in the data, we have approximately 11,239 null values, and then followed by df cleaned. So this df cleaned will give me the shape which doesn't include the null values. So this is how I'll be doing the data cleaning process. After data cleaning process, now I'll be doing the analysis. Now there are actually 3 basic analysis which we'll be doing. That is the univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, and followed by the multivariate analysis. Now univariate analysis. In univariate analysis, as the name says, it deals with univariate, single variable. It deals with just a single variable analysis. So let's say we are considering the data set of a student. So in the data set of a student, we'll be considering the variable as the student alone. So we will be performing the univariate analysis. That is the variable, a single variable which is student there. So this is called univariate analysis. Bivariate analysis. So bivariate analysis is between a dependent variable and an independent variable. So bivariate. two variables, that is dependent variable and an independent variable, the relationship between these two variables. So for this bivariate analysis, the relationship between a student and a teacher would goes very well. That is, the student is, let's consider the student to be the dependent variable on the teacher, where the teacher is an independent variable. So the relationship between the student and teacher can be expressed as the bivariate analysis, and then followed by the multivariate analysis. Now, for the multivariate analysis, the relationship between more than two variables is known as multivariate analysis. For this case, we can include even the school. So the student is the dependent variable on the school and the teacher, whereas the teacher is an independent variable, and also the school is dependent vice versa on the teacher as well as on the student. So I hope you are able to understand the relationship and the variables, how I am correlating it with. There is univariate analysis means just analysis of a single student, whereas bivariate analysis means two, which refers to a relationship between a teacher and a student, that is a dependent and an independent variable, followed by the multivariate analysis, which has a more than two dependent variables involving independent variables. So these are the different analyses which we will be doing. Then followed by feature engineering. So this feature engineering actually plays a very important key role in prescriptive analysis. So feature engineering is nothing but selecting the features. So as I've said in my laptop example, we'll be considering the each and every features of the model in order to consider which laptop model is the best one, right? So this is known as the feature engineering. So in order to explain the various stages of the feature engineering, let me give an example of making of a potato chips. So let's say the first stage of making of a potato chips is considering what kind of potato we buy. So that is known as feature engineering. We'll be selecting a potato. Then followed by the stage 2, feature selection. So feature selection, so what kind of potato will be buying for making potato chips? Is it a small or a big potato? So usually they say that a bigger potatoes taste more nice. So feature selection, so we select the feature of a greater size of potato. So this is the feature which I'm selecting here. So this is the second step of feature selection. So after selecting the size of the potato, we just go for feature transformation. So will we be able to just make chips using the bigger size potato? We'll be just transforming the potato shape into different shapes, right, in the shape of a chips, in order to make it look like a slim and crispy. So we'll be selecting the potato, and we'll be selecting which shape of the potato suits well for the chip, and then we'll be just transforming that potato, that is, we'll be cutting it into a slices, and then we'll be feature extraction, is that we'll complete the process of making into a complete potato chip. So these are all the various features which we'll be undergoing through the entire feature engineering. And then model creation. So we have given the prehistorical data of the product code and the data warehouse in which the product has been, and the date at which particular date this product has been purchased, and then followed by the demand of that product in one particular day. So we will not be using this entire prehistorical data for model creation. What we'll be doing is we'll be taking this 90% of the data set alone in order to train my model, and I'll be using the other 10% of the data set in order to test whether my data set is working or not. For this, in order to make this understand for the people who are here, let me give an example. So there is a classroom where students are there. The teacher is teaching the students. So how will this teacher evaluate whether the students have learned what are all the teacher has said or not, whether the student has understood or not, what are all the contents that have been taught by the teacher? So to test that, the teacher will be keeping a test. So based on the test, she'll be able to evaluate whether the students has understood or not. So the same concept is being deployed here. So we will not take the entire 100% of the data set. We'll just be taking the 90% of the training data set for training purpose, and we'll be keeping the other 10% of the data set for the testing purpose. And then followed by the time series analysis. So after all these various processes which I explained, we have the time series analysis at the end. So this time series analysis is nothing but it gives us the overall time, that is the time interval between each and every purchase gap we have. So the real-time application where the time series analysis plays a very important role is the stock market prediction. In stock market prediction, we mainly focus on the time interval. The time interval at the elevation of the market price or the value is mainly focused here in order to predict the stock market value. So the same concept is being here as the time series analysis. So these are all the concepts which is being used in the prescriptive analysis. So I made it in a very simpler form in order to understand the concepts. Now let me explain my demo using these concepts. So I hope that my Google Colab page is visible to you, sir. So this is the place where I have deployed my project. So at first, what I'll be doing is I'll be deploying what are all the various packages I need in order to develop my model. So NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn, and Matplotlib. These are all the various packages available in the Python language which I have used. So NumPy is used for the mathematical operations which I can perform in order for the analyzation purpose, and then followed by the Pandas. Pandas, as I've said in the starting slide, Pandas is used for the rows and column analyzation in the data set, and then followed by the Seaborn. Seaborn is same as the analyzation purpose, and then Matplotlib. Matplotlib is a really very useful package because it gives very visualizing graphs in order to just even a layman can understand how the data set is being evolved using this graph visual effects. So Matplotlib plays a very important role here. So as a first step, as I've said earlier, I am just loading my data set using my pd.read_csv function. After loading my data set, I'm just understanding of what are all the rows and columns I'm having in my data set, along with the sample values that has been there in my data set. So after loading and understanding, I'm cleaning my data set, as I've said earlier, that is using the isNullOf.sumOf. I'll be just removing all the null values which are there in my data set, making it more complex. So in order to reduce my complexity, I'll be removing all those null values. And then after cleaning my entire data set, I'll be performing my univariate, bivariate, and the multivariate analysis. So that's what, as I've said earlier, this Matplotlib really provides a very good platform. It just gives a visualized result for even one who doesn't know data science will just be able to see how which data warehouse has a more count of product that has been sold. So here the warehouse J has the most product that has been sold. Just by visualizing it, we'll be able to analyze the result, followed by the data warehouse A, which has the second sold more products, and then S followed by C. And then we can just visualize the order of demand. So in the year of 2011 till 2012, we have very less demand for the products, but it has been slowly changed to a very highest peak demand at the year of 2013, which we can understand here by the plotting of this graph. And then again, at the mid of 2014 and 15, it has gone through a very steep down turret, and then followed by again the rise in peaks, through which the business analyst will be able to predict the result, how there is a fluctuation in the demand for the product. And then followed by the feature engineering, as I've said, that what are all the features we'll be selecting in order to prepare our potato chips. So here we have the date, at which particular date, which is the main feature here, at which particular date the product demand has been more increased. So we are just calculating the date as the date of the week, and then we are reducing it to the quarter, followed by the month, year, and week. And again, the various features, these are all the various features, as I've said. So we have taken the date as a main feature for classifying all these, creating the model creation, and then followed by the model creation. And as I've said, I've taken the 90% of the data, that is from 2011 till the mid of 2016. I've taken this 90% of the data for my model creation, and then the balance 10% of this data for testing my data set, whether it has given me the best possible results or not, whether this model which I have created is very efficient or not. Then followed by the time series analysis, which gives me just the time interval between the demand for the product from this particular year till 2012. So this is the model which I've created. Now let me get back into the slide. So as a summary, let me just go through what are all the things I've said throughout the session. First, I told what is prescriptive analysis. So the sales of the sweater compared to the summer and the winter. So just we'll be going through the prehistoric data, and we'll be just inferring to the businessman how we can just make profit out of it. So this is simply known as prescriptive analysis, followed by the data set overview. We have to first just go through an outline of the data set, what are all the features it has, and then followed by the analysis. What are all, how we can just analyze the data using whether univariate or bivariate or multivariate based on the different variables. That is the relationship between the dependent and the independent, that is a student or a teacher. So these are all the analysis, and then followed by the feature engineering. So we'll be selecting what are all the features we have to mainly consider in order to deploy or to develop a very perfect model, as in the case, as I said, in order to create potato chips. So the shape and the size of the potato plays a key main role features. Then followed by the model creation, I'll be just dividing the data set into two, as the training data set and the testing data set. The 90% of the data set will be divided as the training data set, and then the 10% will be divided into the testing data set, and then followed by the time series analysis, which gives the time interval between the purchase of one product to another product, or either the stock market. So these is known as the time series analysis. So throughout this session, these are all the topics and the concepts which we have undergone, and I've also shown the demo of my project which I have done and references. So I've gone through this particular journal in the Science Direct, which has given me a very good idea of how prescriptive analysis can be done in a very large data set, and then followed by the talent.com, where I just gained a very clean and neat, not a very complex definitions of what prescriptive analytics is. So beginners can just go through this particular link to know what prescriptive analysis is exactly, and then follow this Varsadi.com. So any questions, sir?
I don't have any questions.
Thank you, sir.
The presentation was great. there were plenty of stories that you included while you were explaining the concepts, which was a really good thing and which is always recommended to do. Can you show me the demonstration once?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can just go towards the data loading part. Okay, so uh, if you logically look at this entire thing, okay, you have loaded the data, right? And
Yes.
once you load the data and once you call the variable that is df over here and you just call it, you can see that the initial values and the final values have already been given to you. And if you go
Yes.
to the data understanding part, can you scroll
Yes.
down? Here you have called the df.head again, which is very unnecessary. This is something that I saw in Sridevi's presentation as well. I did not add it over there. But yeah, for the both of you, the demonstration of yours and hers was very similar. It was actually the same, to be brutally honest. The content, the way you guys expressed everything was very different. You had a different set of stories, she had a different set of stories. What I would like to recommend to you as well as to her is that whenever you are looking at references as well, try not to copy the entire thing. Try to bring in, a different approach to your code, to your execution, in the ways that you visualize the data. That way you're not only allowing yourself to, thoroughly have a grasp on the code as well, but you're also, opening doors for remembering everything that you do in the long run. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Other than that, it was great, honestly. I had no issues at all. Perfect presentation. Stories were, thoroughly delivered as well. Research was also done. I had seen I had seen one of your previous presentations. I think Yes Chandra sir made me see it. While I was while I was selected as a candidate to be a potential Scrum manager here. So even there, I can see how you have progressed tremendously, which is a very great thing. Do maintain this consistency, but when it comes to the demonstration, try to do things differently. Okay, you
Yes.
do not have to copy the entire reference. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Other than
Thank
that,
you.
fine, perfectly fine. Yeah, you can stop
Thank you,
sharing
sir.
your screen. Yeah, yeah,
Thank you, sir, for your
yeah, yeah,
comments.
yeah, yeah. Oh, another thing that I did forget to add was that the Q&A slide has to be kept separately. Okay, it has to come before the thank you slide. Yeah, and keep the email ID in your Q&A slide as well. This is for Sridevi as well. Sridevi, you will also have to keep. I think you did not include your email ID in the Q&A slide. Make sure that this is something where you can lose your marks. For all of the interns who are present here, always include your email ID in the Q&A slide. Always include references. Always include the thank you slide separately, because those are the places where, if you mix them up or if you forget to add it in the first place, you'll end up losing marks, and that is something that feels silly, right? It isn't supposed to happen in the first place. So make sure that the basics are intact. Okay, everything else, so far the interns have been good. uh then we have Bhanu, Prakash. You can unmute.
Listen.
Yeah, you're audible.
Did you?
Yeah, I talked to Devanshu sir. There won't be any exceptions made. You'll have to give every single presentation again. You'll have to show every single demonstration again as well. About one of the projects that you had mentioned yesterday, can you tell me the entire list once again?
So first one is I'll show you. Sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, is it visible? First
You
one.
had overview.
Overview of Python web frameworks.
Okay, just give me 1 minute. Overview of Python web frameworks is invalid now because the date was a really long time ago. So
Sir,
that
at
won't be
at the time
considered.
I have submitted, sir, but I have not given presentation.
That is your fault then.
Then developing stock standard application, integrating Django REST framework.
Just let me check everything once again. See, in our database, we only have two projects under your name. The first one is overview of the project synopsis. Then is integrating Django REST framework, and this one I graded yesterday. Develop Acqueda business operations. So you'll have to present on overview of the project synopsis and integrating Django REST framework with React front-end applications.
I think overview of project synopsis means they have given us tasks, no, sir, till June, like that. Develop Hackpada business, overview of Python frameworks, integrating Django REST, developing stock trainer, and they have given trading stock trading something.
Do you have the reference mail ID for that task?
Sir.
Or we can just go to your intern tracker. Just go over there.
Yes, sir.
Scroll up. Go, just go to the top. Click on the tasks button. Scroll down. Overview of the project synopsis. Okay. So the overview of the project synopsis is that you have to develop a screen application using Python. As it mentioned that you have to create a documentation for this.
No, sir.
Scroll down. Just a minute. Go up. Yeah. Okay. Scroll down. This we have graded. Then we have integrating Django REST framework with front-end applications. Okay. Scroll down. Choosing the right Python. Yeah, this is invalid. The date was a long time ago. So for the overview of the project synopsis, you'll have to give a presentation on the Docker application, right?
Sir, stock.
Yeah. And this isn't on the database. There's just two. You'll have to present on overview of the project synopsis and integrating Django REST framework. Two presentations. Which one are you ready with today?
First, I will complete stock screen application, sir.
The overview of the project analysis, right?
Yes, sir.
The demonstration is ready.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you work on the things that I told you to do yesterday?
Yes, somewhat.
Okay, we'll see. You can start.
So this is this presentation about stock screener application. First of all, what is stock? Stock is also known as share or equity. It represents ownership in a company. When you purchase a stock, you are essentially buying a small piece of share of that company. Company issue stocks as a main means of raising capital for various purposes, such as expanding their businesses or investing in new projects. So, introduction for stock screener is stock screening is a technique used by investors and traders to filter and identify stocks based on some specific criteria. It helps narrow down the universe of available stocks to those that meet predetermined requirements uh, and help in saving time and effort. By using a stock screener application, investors can quickly find stocks and that align with the investment objectives and strategies. The key features of the stock screener applications are it is very customizable uh, and we get real-time data updates and back testing capabilities. So analysis in stock screening is technical analysis. Technical analysis involves analyzing historical price and volume data to identify patterns or trends that can help predict future price improvements or if there is any decrease like that. And another one is fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis involves evaluating a company's financial statements and other relevant information to assess its value and potential for the future growth. So advantages and disadvantages of a stock screener are advantages are it is very time saving. Uh, it is focus and efficiency and uncovering so many opportunities and we can freely make decisions. Disadvantages of stock screener are over reliance on data, limited view of market, and the cost and lack of flexibility. So this is the working of stock screener application, sir. So stock screener application are valuable tools for investors as they save time and reduce risk and identify investment opportunities that match their objectives and preferences. However, investors should also be aware the potential limitations such as over reliance of data, limited view of market, cost, and lack of flexibility. Thank you, sir. This is a presentation of a stock screener application.
Where is the demonstration?
Demo, I will show you right now, sir. I'm running it in a I'm running it in VS Code, sir.
Okay.
So 1 minute. Sir.
Try executing it with PyCharm.
Before only it worked, sir. Right now it's not showing.
You can just open the file on PyCharm.
So in PyCharm it's not opening.
Why not?
I opened that file only.
Click on the file. Like go to when folder. You can expand that folder, right? Okay. Try executing the code over here.
Here in PyCharm I didn't install some buildings section.
You can import pandas, right? That you
Uh,
can import manually.
but I tried in PyCharm first, but as it is not working, I tried in Visual Studio Code. Here it works. Right now it's not showing, but yes, sir.
Okay.
This is a stock screener application.
Mhm.
So here, if you give any stock symbols like for Tesla, if you give TSLA, and if we run that, it will give about Tesla stock price and today's high value, low value, the volume, this data. Sir.
Okay.
So if we give any stock price like Apple, then it will give Apple stock price today.
Okay. See, for this presentation, just go back to your PPT.
Yes, sir.
You did not include a Q&A slide.
Yes, yes.
There is no Q&A slide. See, yesterday only I told you to just work on the things that I've told you to do, and you are not doing that. Do you seriously? Are you expecting that you would be given a completion letter like this? If you're not even performing well in the two tasks that you have left with, how are you going to get a completion letter, man?
So I've done this task so many days before. That's why.
So you have an entire day to revise. You have an entire day, right? You have graduated as well, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I think you have all the time in the world. You can just, this isn't like a complex project too.
Yes, sir.
For the last task that you have left, please make the changes so that I can give you adequate scores in order for you to get the completion letter. Okay. We'll take that presentation tomorrow. Just be prepared and elaborate, include bullet points. You do not have to read from the presentation. Build up a story. Engage. This is going on YouTube, right? Other interns are going to watch it
Okay, sir.
for their own references, right?
Okay, sir.
this is a responsibility. This, even though it might, it for you, it might be like you're coming over here, you have been given references, you have been given tasks, and you just have to do the task, and then you'll eventually get the completion letter. It does not work like that over here. You have to properly research. You have an entire day. Prepare, come prepared, see how the code works, see what your project is about, build up a story, make changes in your presentation, include a Q&A slide. Okay. In the Q&A slide, mention your email ID, and include a references slide as well. Do not read from the PPT. Keep bullet points, but do not read from them. You have to elaborate on them. Okay.
Yes.
Do that tomorrow so that I can score you adequately. Your scores will go down again because of this presentation. What's the point? Yeah. If you need the certificate, you'll have to do that much, man. Then they won't consider you eligible for the certificate if you have less scores.
Yes.
Okay. Work on it tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. You can stop sharing. So I think we're done with all of the interns for today. Thank you everyone for joining in. We'll stop with the recording.